Welcome to the Top 200 podcast with your host, Herschel Forum.
What's up, everybody? It's Herschel Forum from High School Top 200. Welcome back to the Monday morning meeting podcast, where we go through everything from first 15 rugby all around the country. And in a time like this, we've got all the finals going on right now. So thank you for tuning back in. If you're following me on any platform right now, you're watching this, so you're probably on my Facebook or on my YouTube, which is High School Top 200 on YouTube. And then if you're following on any other platforms like Instagram or TikTok or Facebook, it's HS Top 200 or any kind of variation like that, or the real HS Top 200. And if you want to keep up to date with all of the rankings are on hstop200.com, and it has a $5 monthly subscription, and there's a bunch of rankings that all the rankings are all finished, all the rankings are finalized and set and done. So there's no more finished rankings, so these are rankings that are set for the rest of the year till next year. So have a look at the year 12s and the year 11s, where you ended up at year 13. And pretty much what the year 12s is going to be an indication of kind of how it's going to look next year to start off the season, before the season starts going and changing everything, which we've done throughout this whole season. So go have a look at hstop200.com, $5 monthly subscription, and I'm going to continue to keep uploading stuff onto the website. Even throughout the off season, because there's always a bunch of stuff to talk about. There's always a lot of boys coming back. There's always a lot of guys that I always look out for, always find out about more. I like to profile players so that more coaches and more clubs from around the country can start looking into other players that they may not have known about. This is pretty much what this whole thing is about. It's about giving boys more opportunities to showcase their talent, and hopefully get opportunities more to continue to live out their dream, or kind of give them a little bit of a bump, so that they can continue to keep playing rugby around the country and around the world, wherever may take them. But that's what this is all about. It's just about profiling boys and helping them get more opportunities. So $5 a month, it's not a big ask. It helps me do a lot of what I do here on High School Top 200, and I'd like to make it more. I'd like to do a lot more with it, but for now, the $5 a month is all I ask. And I'll continue on throughout the off season as well, throughout Christmas, throughout the sevens, which is coming up, and throughout Christmas and all that kind of stuff. I know we'd probably want to hurry up and get into these, because there's been so many games. There hasn't been so many games, but there's been so many important games, so many games that actually matter now. For those that don't understand right now, every team right now is trying to get into the national top 4, and the way that it works is that everybody is split off into different regions, and the easiest way to explain it is that the Blues region have theirs. They have one representative come out from the boys. The Chiefs have a region, and only one representative comes out of there. The Hurricanes have a region, one representative comes out of there, and then the South Island has a region. There's one full region, and they only have one come out of there. And the games right now are coming down to their finals. The South Island just got theirs, and STAC won theirs over Southland boys. STAC is St. Andrew's College. They'll be representing the South Island, and then they're gonna be waiting now to see who the winner is of St. Pat's Silverstream, who's from Wellington. They play in the Wellington competition, and then they'll be playing against Napier boys, who play in the Super 8, and they will be playing against each other. So Hamilton boys and Tauranga boys are going to be playing off next week. And whoever wins represents the Chiefs, and then whoever wins from Kelston boys and Westlake boys, who just won, those two will play off, and whoever wins from there will play Hamilton Boys or Tauranga Boys in the Chiefs region. So Blues and Chiefs, Hurricanes in the South Island, and those are the two matchups that we have. And so we've come down to the finals for everywhere in this North Island. And I stayed here in Hamilton, and I went to Hamilton Boys and Wesley. Wesley is from the Central North Island competition, obviously in Pookie. Oh, I wouldn't say Pookie, sorry, because they wouldn't want it to be called Pookie. Paraita, I think that's how they say it. But Wesley College is obviously a traditional, was a traditional powerhouse in New Zealand rugby. Still got a bunch of talent, still got a bunch of boys that are always really, really tough physical boys that can handle a bunch of I guess pressure and power, and they play with a lot of physicality, and they've got a lot of flair that usually turns up in their backlines. And so when you play against like a Wesley College side, in my mind, if I was to coach them, or if I was to build up a game plan, I would build it up around physicality and strength. I would make sure that things like rucks are dominated by sort of like a South African approach, where you dominate the rucks with power and strength, and because in first 15 rugby you can get away with that kind of stuff. You can build something on there. When you get to men's and obviously like that, like everybody's strong, everybody's tough, everybody's physically developed, but in high school it's not always the same. So with predominantly, can't even say predominantly, I guess the only one apart from Tyson Forbes and in that forward pack, he's the only white kid in the forward pack, but even he's like a big dude as well. So like they have no small like skinny guys in their pack, and I would build around the physicality. I would build around winning the rucks for myself, making sure you seal it off and make sure you get a good platform to launch off. And then even on the defensive side of it, I would coach them in a way that we occupy the rucks and the breakdowns physically, and have teams having to work and commit more guys, because I would commit one and they will have to commit at least 2.5 guys to sort of be there. And so I would base everything off that, and for me, that's pretty much where Hamilton Boys had it over Wesley College yesterday, is that or on Saturday, is that like every breakdown was so quick for Hamilton Boys, and the first half was really close. I think it was like 17-12 was the first half score, I think it was. But the way that it was going was that Levi Byers, who had a really good game and was like the real standout in that, I guess in that first half for Wesley, was the one that was like making these breaks, massive break up the middle after Hamilton Boys' second try, which actually led to Wesley College scoring their first try in that first half. But what Wesley wasn't doing for me was they weren't tying it up. They weren't making Hamilton Boys work at the breakdown to slow them down, because as Hamilton plays, and if you've seen Hamilton Boys play, they play so quick and fast at the rucks that they make you fear the spreading of the ball, and then when you cut it down you go, well, I'm not going to let them spread the ball, and I'm not going to let them get this quick. I'm not going to let them get the front foot, and I will stamp it out here at the beginning where the breakdown is, and make sure that every tackle is met by 2 guys and at least another third or fourth to just fight for that advantage of trying to get a turnover at the breakdown, and make them work for it, make them commit more guys, so that they don't have this fast pace rucks, which was happening. They were cleaning out so well. They were getting the ball out so fast, and Wesley was worried more about them spreading the ball and getting their defense sorted across the line instead of stamping it down at those moments where they can start slowing down the game and slowing down the rucks and have them commit to more guys. It didn't help that I think Philly got injured. Philly Fangupo, who's the open side, when there was a tackle. I think it's in one of my the clips that I have on my Instagram. If you go have a look, he gets held and a tackle upright, and then one of the Hamilton guys sort of grabs his jersey and leans back and pulls him back, and he ends up folding backwards in a weird position on his leg, and so you can understand why he gets injured. But I think the fact that he went out, and which, you know, Eric Tapusua with Tyson Forbes and Philly, all three of those guys at the breakdown, especially in a game like this, you need those guys to be around the whole time. The fact that Philly went out was probably a big one. It didn't help. It didn't help with the tackle ball. It didn't help with Wesley trying to chop them down or trying to, you know, complete tackles with one-on-one tackles, things like that, because he's one of the guys that you have to get out there. He's one of the guys that moves faster, hits harder, and him and Eric and Tyson usually control that side and side of the game, and it just forced a lot on Pila, Tui Hakalima, it's Tui Halamaka, who Pila's like one of the I would say one of the leaders in that forward pack, and consistently throughout this whole year in the CNI, he's been one of those guys that, and in all honesty, if I had him on my team, I wouldn't even have him as a lock. I think they just play him there because he's taller, but I would rather have him as a blind side. I'd rather have him in that position where he's not that stuck and he can have sort of an open range. And I guess the fact that they have someone like Tyson and Philly and Eric, you've got to fit guys in there somewhere, you know. So him and Sam, which is another thing, man, flipping wear your mouth guards, bro. Come on. And you guys on the sideline know what I'm talking about with just wearing your mouth guard, because you may not think it's cool and it feels a little bit uncomfortable when you lose a tooth. You know, it's like you're gonna wish that you could just put that thing back into your mouth so you don't lose your teeth. You know, and that's all it was. But in that forward pack, they just needed to tie it up. Hamilton was just too fast. And that first half, it was just a feeling out process for Hamilton boys. I thought that Jackson, by the way, probably controlled at least 70 to 80% of how that whole game went, and he was just making all the right kicks, making all the right reads, giving the ball on. He was probably the best player on the day. Even the two wingers were probably really, Diha and Carson had like a massive influence on how that went as well, and them finishing off plays, and them, because sometimes I think there's no use extending the play out wide if your wingers can't do anything. And Diha and Liam Diha Elliott and Carson Hunter, both of them, every time they touched the ball, they did something. Like Diha was making guys miss all over the place and getting themselves into better position. Carson came off with 2 tries after like a big massive try of just passing back and forth by Hamilton boys in that second half, and he just finished them off. Or like the intercept that he got as well was another one. But it was just that kind of thing where I felt like guys like Kent Mills and Tom Foote played hard and physical and made it worthwhile for their team, that when they recycled the ball through like their kind of play, the backs did something with it. Like sometimes there's always that frustration, and forwards always know that, like, when forwards win the ball, when forwards give you a clean set and foundation to fire off on, and then you stuff it up when you run into your own guy, when your timing's really off, you get caught in your backfield, and forwards have to sort of double around and get back to try and clean out. Like forwards get so pissed off with that stuff. And with the work that Tom and Kent were doing, it's lucky that those backs went through and got it, because there was a lot of times where those two, Caleb was another one where they were pushing that Wesley forward pack to spread out and to really sort of take their focus on of winning the breakdown to trying to make tackles and trying to stop it that way. That Hamilton boys just had their way with them after that. And Caleb played a pretty big game as well. Him and Isaiah, I know Isaiah was taking a lot of flack from running the ball, but to me it's just like he did the right thing. Just keep running it. Of course you're going to get hit hard, because that's what you put yourself in the position to, and he knows that too. Like, you don't run the ball thinking that people are just going to put out the red carpet for you to run down. And it's like, no, everyone's going to try and want to hit you hard, especially if you're Islanders. Like, Islanders going to welcome that challenge. And I like the fact that Isaiah Edwards just kept going hard, kept running off the back fence, even like when he was getting hit hard. It was like, yeah, it's just what you do. That's your role. You take the hits, you run it hard, you're going to even bump them off, you're going to get hit. It's like same thing. He did both of those. He got hit and he bumped some guys off. So it was cool just to watch Hamilton boys stay on that level that they were on, and then they actually put the pressure on them too. I really wanted to see. One thing I wasn't impressed with was the Hamilton boys scrum wasn't that impressive to me this time, and they usually are. Like, if you go through YouTube and watch all their scrums, they're usually better than what they did on Saturday. And I think that they probably need to fix that up before next week. They probably need to get more. Dion wasn't there this week. Dion Fafita wasn't there, so that is understandable when you have other guys come in. Hamish did as good as he could, and Mitch Matangi is only year 11, so when you have like year 11 props, you do want like solid guys around him, so that I think it helps that Malachi and Caleb are behind him as well. So that's something that they probably need to clean up. That's probably something they need to really work on. And I think their scrum was like, their locks, their lineouts were okay. I think there were a couple of overthrows, if I can remember rightly. But that was kind of like my take from it, is that Wesley could have won that out of physicality, and I think that they should have tried it a lot more. To me, obviously, Hamilton boys was the better team. I knew that they were going to come in, and I was obviously, I thought people who have watched this for a long time know that I'm not a Hamilton boys fan. I'm from Hamilton, but when I was at school, we never liked those guys. It's kind of that rivalry that we had with them. Them and St. Paul's teams, obviously I go there because I'm close to them, but if anything, I was picking Wesley because that's our traditional game against Wesley when I went to school, and so Wesley's always been like the guys that I choose to cheer for. And so going into this game, obviously my heart was with Wesley, but I knew that this is going to be a hard task, and Hamilton boys were just too strong for them. And Hamilton boys is just getting better and better. And even with next week's game, it's going to be a real hard one for both of those teams. Both of those teams are going to have to figure it out. So Tauranga and Hamilton boys are going to have to really figure that out, and it's only going to take the field to figure that stuff out. But good game by Hamilton boys. Congrats to Wesley for making it that far. after a really good campaign in the CNI, you know, and getting that far in the CNI like they did, to ending their season third on the CNI, and then being able to make it through to this round 2 in the Chiefs region. I haven't yet got film from Tauranga, so I haven't seen the game. Obviously, Tauranga won over New Plymouth Boys, 12-7, I think the score was. But yeah, that's going to be an interesting one next year. When I get the game sent to me and I watch it, then I'll figure out how that all kind of went. I think the other game that I think one of the biggest. I think one of the biggest rivalries this year, to me, is and probably the best games out of all of them is this Rosmini and Westlake game. The games, the first game Westlake won. I think it was like 24-17, something like that. And then they had their first Sky game, which was the one where Rosmini were down 3 tries, and then they ended up coming back and winning by was it 31-21, some score like that. And then even Saturday's game was such a back and forth game, and the whole thing was just exciting. The whole thing was like that first half. Oh, get this out of the way. That first half where I think coming into it, right, I had Rosmini with the edge coming into this game. And I based that around the forward pack and that loose trio. And I wasn't wrong, because that their forward pack and their loose trio was so dominant. I mean, the way that Lucian Alperman was playing, and the way that he was, you know, pretty much being able to do kind of what he wanted, you know, like I think that when he was in and around that ball, close to the line, he was just so dangerous every single time, you know. He was just so dangerous being around there. And I thought to myself, man, that's pretty much exactly what you want. You want those guys who are the strongest on their team, the leaders in their team. Him and Brody just dominated that forward pack rage, and the way that they got out there every single time, you know, especially when like Westlake were making these runs and, you know, having these like quick little breaks, they were always kind of there to shut it down. And it was kind of like cool to see, in the way that when you want to try and break the game down and analyze it, and then seeing how these guys get across, or seeing how these guys you know, push through and push forward. It's like a cool thing to sort of watch them do it. 45-43 in the end is a massive score. Obviously, the whole game was exciting because everyone was scoring. Pretty much every like 3 minutes they were scoring. You know, it was pretty cool to watch a high scoring game. But when I think having those first 3, you know, Flynn getting those first 3 tries, he scored like 3 tries within 9 minutes, something like that. And him being able to see, because I think there's one thing, like everyone's going to go, oh yeah, well Matt did it, you know, Luke had a big massive hand in it, you know, all that kind of stuff, and Levi getting the ball out, you know, all those kind of things. That's cool, but you still have to finish the play. And I give a lot of credit to to Flynn Holbrook that he actually finished those plays. Matt made the break, you made the pass, you caught the pass, you were in a good position, your timing was great, like all those kind of things, like even the kick where Luke kicked it across, made that sort of cross kick kind of thing, and then even you had like another 25 meters to score the try and beat your man. Like all those things I thought were cool. Like I thought was like really good. Like to me that was just one of those kind of situations, like not everyone's going to be able to make that right decision and to make those right moves or to beat their last man. It's like that's what I think a true kind of winger kind of is like as how Flynn finished those tries. Then you got like the Rosmini forward pack that were being able to, Ethan Bates scored his try, then Lucian got his 2 tries, and it was kind of hard to sort of like find out where the breaking point was for these two teams. And even like with like Westlake winning the game, to me came down to Matt Fleming was the difference, which is that's not like a hot take or anything like that. Anyone that's been watching, I guess anyone's been watching my page and having me talk about Westlake all the time and Matt's name comes up, you just can't get away from that. Like you can't just like talk about Westlake boys without talking about him. And so like he was the big difference maker. The fact that him, Luke and Levi were all on their best game today, and Flynn was finishing off all these tries, especially to start off that game. That's what you want in your team. Like that's what you want in the back line. It's just like the forwards to just enough to give them the space to make a difference, and then the backs finished it off, and they did make the difference. They paid it off that they, the forwards held up their end, because even with that Ethan Bates try right in the beginning, the one I think it was off the line out as well, and then I was kind of like, I was thinking about Westlake and how they were going to sort of hold them up, because right on the initial, when he brought the ball down and they made contact, I just saw straight away, I was just like, man, like, is this what Westlake's going to struggle with the whole game? And like, is it going to be is this going to be the point where this is what breaks Westlake boys? And even though Rosmini had that stronger forward pack and they were winning that battle, they held on strong enough and held on long enough to actually help their team compete. I even think Westlake even did a good number on Eli, because Eli played really, really good, and I thought Eli had a really strong game at halfback, and even when he made his breaks and stuff like that, they all swarmed around and they all sort of stayed together and tried to put as much pressure on him. Like Eli made that little break down the sideline where I think it was like a chip kick and stuff like that, where that could have turned into a mess, and I thought that those guys sort of brought it together and shut it down a bit and crowded his space and made sure that he didn't get through and just sort of push that ball out, and Westlake just held it together just enough throughout that whole game to really make it competitive, because I think there was even a time in that second half, it was like around the 40th minute or 45 minute or something like that, when I think it was Levi who actually scored the try, and it was like off the lineup, but the fact that they competed with Rosmini and sort of took it at them, and Morgan had a go at them as well. Like, Levi ended up scoring the try, but that build up by the forwards in Westlake was, to me, what brought it off. And then even Morgan's break was pretty funny. It's like, he made this big clean break, and I think it was who tackled him in the end. I think it might have went all the way down to Kane. I think Kane was the one that actually tackled him in the end. But that sort of started opening up the space and, opening up the lanes for Westlake to get ahead. And even though try got them ahead even more and pushed them out into the 30s. And I think it was like that 2 tries by Westlake. Because I think Levi scored both of them, I think Levi scored both of them. It was set up by Morgan when he made that break. And then the forwards did their thing, got down to the 5 meter line, something like that. And then it just took Levi's determination, just grinding out and pushed himself over. Those 2 tries took them out to that 30 range. And, that's where I think the forwards were playing a lot better, got them into those positions and sort of held it for them. And even though when you kind of thought that Rosmini was kind of rattled, I kind of looked at it like the last game where Westlake took it out by that many points as well, and then or took it out and they were ahead, and you kind of didn't think that Rosmini would be able to make it back, and they were kind of that same situation where they were sort of up 38-39 or 28-29, something like that, where it was like a 10-11 point difference, and Westlake had this control of the game, and you thought, oh shoot, this is going to be that time. It was like, in my mind I was thinking, well, I'm waiting for this Rosmini comeback, because that's what they did in the last game. And I knew that for guys like Brody, and that they're not going to just let the game go like that. They're not just going to let the game go away from that, from them, and get out of hand, because they've been in this situation before. They know how to sort of play in that pressure, and they did it at home. And I thought, well, I know that they're going to do this in the finals. And to me, even after Matt scored his try, they pushed it up to 40. Into the 40s, I knew that there was still a lot of time, because I was only the 15. I think they had 15 minutes or something like that to make up those points. And Caden had kind of a quiet game in this game, and so did Eli. Not Eli, Caden and what's his name in the second 5, but they didn't have that much of a game. But I thought after that Matt try, and they were up in the 40s, I knew that there was going to be something coming back, and I just thought, well, if they make this comeback, I wonder how much tries they can score in this comeback, and I wonder how much time they're going to use to sort of get back at it. That's when they made that break. They made that break in the midfield. Who was it? It was one of the reserve guys. Might have been Max or Quinn, one of those two, where they made that break midfield, and they got all the way down to the 5 meter line. I think that's when the yellow card came out, and then Eli scored his try. What I liked is that they didn't really celebrate. They sort of just ran back. It was I noticed it's all of them knew the situation. It's this is not the tie 5 hug and stuff. It's we're kind of racing against the clock. And that's when I guess they got down to the scrum again. I think it was where they attacked from the scrum. Brody, I think, was one of the guys, and then that's when I think they had the knock on by Lucian. Had the knock on. We went over for the try. I can't remember who hit it out, but somebody hit it out. It was one of those gutting moments, It was just one of those moments where coming down to the last sort of minutes, and you're putting everything into it, and are they going to run out of time? And I knew Lucian obviously was going to take it again off that scrum. And then I just thought, man, they got a lot of them, but it was just a time thing. And I actually think it was a time thing. And they, obviously pretty gutted. Obviously Rosmini was pretty gutted, and 2 points away from it, and they just ran out of time. And shout out to Westlake boys for winning. I know obviously in the North Shore they probably getting a bit sick of seeing Westlake win, but I think when you're good, you're just good. When you work that hard as a school, you just expect it to pay off, and it's been paying off. So they're they're going to be in the finals in the Blues region final against Kelston boys. I'll probably go up and watch that game this week. And Kelston boys beat Whangarei. When I get that game as well, I'll watch it and just see what happened against Whangarei and Kelston boys. But shout out to Rosmini for the year that they've had. And all the boys, Brody and Lucian and Eli, Ethan, all those guys, Isaac, Kane, all those fellas they've just had a really good season this year. Most of those boys are going to be gone. Caden, I think, is coming back. Caden will be back. Cash, I think, is coming back from Rosmini. But there's a lot of those guys that'll be leaving. Same thing with Westlake. Some of those guys will be coming back. Obviously, Matt's coming back. Mana, those guys. Levi and Luke last year. Nico, I think, is his last year too. Morgan, but yeah. Shout out to Westlake boys and their win. Next game I wanted to talk about was the Silverstream game. See, I look at Silverstream against Lindisfarne, and I'm not the only one that thinks this. Even people from Wellington think this. And there's something wrong with Wellington, and there's something wrong with the way that they are player development, I would say. Silverstream have been strong in every single level, and they've been winning pretty much in every single level, from under 14s all the way up to first 15. They've been the strongest by far for the past 10 years or so, and they not only win, in first 15, but they also win in their under 16s, under 15s. Majority of the time they're in the finals, and they either win it or they lose, but they're always up there. But then we get these games where they have to travel out. Wellington College have to travel out. St. Pat's Town have to travel out, and then they run into trouble. This should have been an easy game for them. And I'm not saying it should have been an easy game because Lindisfarne is useless, because Lindisfarne is not useless. Lindisfarne is one of those teams or one of those schools where they are probably the best school that that can work with what they've got, and they punch a lot above their weight. They punch a lot above where people think they should be, and they do it with local players. They've got some of these guys that come in from like New Caledonia and that kind of stuff, where they've got like I think it's like a partnership with one of the schools there or one of the academies there or something like that, and they bring over New Caledonian boys. I think that's where Davey and Killian come from, I think. And they've done it for like a few years now. I can't remember how many years, but the local boys that they have there and that they have from Hastings, they do so much with the boys that they have there that they really do punch above what they really should be. And coming up in a game against someone like St. Pat's Silverstream, who have dominated Wellington rugby for the past 10 years, I thought Lindisfarne were so good that they looked like they were going to steal their game. And to me, if it wasn't for Fletcher and how Fletcher played and what he brought into the team, they really could have lost that game. And there were like individual brilliances that he did on his own to where I kind of looked at it and go, oh, these guys are pretty lucky that they have someone like Cooper there, because these guys could have easily lost this game. And Lindisfarne fashion, you know, they didn't give anything away. They didn't, you know, they didn't hang off. They didn't, you know, give anything easy. And I thought that the way that they confronted them was more about their devotion to beating this side and how much they wanted it. And like when Shea had a massive game for Silverstream as well. It sucked that he didn't get that try, which I kind of thought that it was a try. Like even when I slowed it down, I thought that he got it down and that there wasn't really any separation. And maybe I wasn't watching it properly, but I actually thought that he scored the try. And it was like one of those moments where those are one of those moments where those should have been some easy points. They should have been, because I mean he made the break right down the middle of the field, and he pretty much took it from the ruck when Lindisfarne weren't paying attention and kind of just rolled out, and he just scooped up and gone like a sort of like a touch play. He just scooped up the ball and took off, and he's just too fast. Like Shea's just too fast, and it was like those moments. They didn't look like Silverstream didn't look like they were going to lose, but they also didn't look like they were convincingly winning this. And in a game like this, I look at it like I think when a team knows that they're stronger than another team, and you've got all the confidence in the world, and you know that you're not the underdog and all that kind of stuff. In my mind, I think as the best team on the field, let's put everything that we have into this game and let's just smash these guys. Because I think that the line of like, let's smash these guys and then let's be patient and wait this thing out, because whatever happens, we'll still win at the end. That fine line, to me, is how you lose games. For good teams that lose games. That's good teams coming on the field and going, oh, we can, yeah, let's just take our time with this, and when we start wanting to win, we'll start wanting to win. In this game, it didn't look like that. And a bit disappointed, I was a bit disappointed in how Silverstream was. And I can imagine the coaching staff will probably feel the same as well, that because they know what kind of team that they have, they know what kind of games and battles they've been in to be at this point in the season, and then you have a game like this. Like, it shouldn't be like this. This felt like preseason energy from St. Pat Silverstream. And I think like there was, because Troy Wardrum scored pretty much straight away. We got his try in the corner, but was it even like the second minute or something like that? But he scored in the corner. I thought that this was going to be a run. I thought, okay, cool. This is going to be the pace of it. And then you saw Reed score the second try, I think it was, where he scored the first try for Lindisfarne. He had this cutback near the line, and then they evened it up. Then Shea had his one where he coughed up the ball, where I just don't think so. But then they even came back, and then Fletcher just set up the try for Troy's second one, and that was where like they were on the left side of the field, and Fletcher got the ball, like stepped in and out, went towards the line, and then he drew on two, had someone's eyes turned to him on the third one, and then there was just two quick passes out, and then Troy just went and dove over the line. And I think at that point it was I think it was 12 by then. It was like 12-7 or something around that. And then Lindisfarne had their second try, and then that's when Vaitupu had his one. I think it was that, and then Reed set up the next one, because I think Beck was the one that scored. Beck Allen, I think he was the one that scored after that, because like the halftime score was 24-17. And I kind of like, and even at that point, I just didn't think that Silverstream had it. I knew that they always going to win, but I just didn't like the way that they won, and I didn't like that they didn't put the full pressure on them, because next week you have to play Napier boys, or even if it was Napier or Hastings. Either way, you just like, bro, like I didn't like that this was the warm-up game for them, and they took it as a warm-up, and they almost lost that warm-up. And it was like a mean shout out to Lindisfarne and how they played, but I just didn't like the way that they took that game. And it just wasn't, to me, it just wasn't impressive. I just didn't like that fact that it was like that. I didn't like the sort of like the attitude that they had going into this kind of game. Anyways, Hastings and Napier, obviously, like one of those kind of those local derby traditional games. A massive score, And I talk about this all the time. Like Napier we're the better side. Napier was going to win this game from the start. In my mind, from the start they were going to win this game. And I just want to talk about it in that way because, like, the first half finished off where it was something like 29-28. They scored the 2 tries. They got so it was something 14. It was like 28-29-14, something like that. And I knew that at some point Napier was going to break away. And Napier's the school that's been on Form 1 this whole season. They've had some losses which were they're real bad losses. To me, every team is entitled to a bad loss and a bad game, because that's just what happens throughout the years, is that you have bad losses and bad games, ones that you don't think that you're going to lose and all that kind of stuff. And Napier boys has already had them. To me, they were the better team. And they were always going to be the better team, and I thought they were always going to win. My thing was like a hope that Hastings would kind of pull it together. And if you followed Hastings this year, all they have had is injuries all year. And it's been such a sad year to see Hastings boys like this, where their best players have gone down. They haven't been able to field a consistent side. They haven't been able to build combinations. They haven't been able to build momentum on any of their games. And when one guy goes down, just the next one and the next one goes down. And it's been so sad to watch Hastings boys try and battle through this, because this is not the Hastings boys from years ago. If you haven't been following this page, this is not the old Hastings boys where they used to get smashed by 50 points and whatever. This Hastings boys rugby program now is a lot different and a lot more specific. It's a lot more position based, working on position specific player production and player building, a lot about confidence building and building within their culture. And the Hastings program is solid, and all these young boys that are coming through under 14s and 15s, they all work hard, they all show up on the day, and they all play their best games, and they have this thing that's living in their rugby program, that not only the coaches have to keep going, but the boys also have to keep working hard and believing that they're up there with the rest of the country and rest of the teams, because in reality that they are. It's always been Napier boys have always, to me, been the stronger ones, and always had the consistency of having strong teams. Hastings boys have only built this over the last 8-9 years, and they need to keep this going. But then when they have a year like this where these guys go down injured and their best players are gone for majority of the year, and then they haven't been able to build up any kind of momentum, it's just sad. I just feel sorry for them. And this was one of those games. Napier were just strong on the day. I always knew that Napier was going to win. I wanted to see how long Hastings could push it, but it's hard to ask Hastings to win up such a big, massive game like this, up against a big, massive team that obviously you have Brad and Carter and Harry and Will and Ollie and like these kind of guys, where you're just like, can you guys beat those fellas? It's like, no, that's a hard thing. You can't ask any team around the country just to go off and beat a Napier boys side like that that's been playing pretty great the whole season, and then ask a team who's been depleted from injuries and stuff, who hasn't really built up any camaraderie on the field, to go and beat a team like this. It's just unrealistic. And my expectation of it was not like, can Hastings win this? I just wanted them to put forward a good performance, and in the most of it they did. They put together a better performance than I thought. Scoring 30 points against a side like Napier boys, even though Napier boys dropped 60 points, it's like, yeah, that's fine. But they were also able to score 30 points. Was what I was focused on as well, and the way that they pushed them. But I thought Hastings was great, and I'm just proud of them being able to put together a performance like that, and put together 2 wins over Palmy before this, and then now with Napier being able to do what they could on the field. So shout out to Napier boys though. They'll go up against Silverstream next week, and that one's going to be an upward battle. Silverstream just need to come better. Just like I was saying before, Silverstream not really performing that well to me against Lindisfarne. They really need to step it up, because this is not one of those games that you can sort of mess around and then pull off a win off a mess around. Napier's forwards are too big and too strong. Will's got that back line running, and him and Harry and Will are just too strong as a 9 and 10 for anybody just to mess around. So hopefully Silverstream step it up this coming week, and they can put forward a performance where they can steal this one away. And I'm going to be honest, they're the underdogs in this. Napier boys is the one that's looking through to go through. Silverstream is the underdogs. So yeah, hopefully we see what happens then. STAC and Southland boys, probably the scoreline I was going to see. I knew that this game was going to be hard. I kind of thought Southland boys was going to pull this one off. I knew that it was going to be hard, knowing that Caleb wasn't playing, and knowing that what's his name? Who was it? Hunter? Because I think when you obviously you build on a team like this and you think, this is the team that you're going to see, but then injuries happen, all that kind of stuff, and then knowing that Hunter's not going to be there, and then you have to fill in the prop to go to number 8, and it kind of messes it up a little bit. But I still thought coming out of it, it'd be like, okay, let's see what kind of happens. But even from the beginning, the strength and the power. I think the strength and the power was one thing. It was such a big side for STAC. Just the way that that team is kind of built, and how many guys that STAC can rely on in that forward pack. I thought was like one of those kind of comforting things. And then knowing also what the bench looked like, you had this, I think for STAC fans, you had this reassurance that yeah, this is cool, but I know that come the second half, when some of our other big boys come back on, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna have these other big fellas come on, because having Caleb come on and what's his name? I forgot what the young kid's name is. My goodness. Just having these guys come off the bench and go, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be able to sort of rebuild, or not rebuild, but restack our side, take the pressure off some of these, some of our other boys. Get them to what is it, like get in line, I guess you'd say, and had that value to come on, I thought was like reassuring, because I looked at the side and thought, well, if you got someone like James and Jack, of course Ben is going to be there too. I was kind of looking at it like, how is STAC going to be able to not just finish out this first half, but also are they going to be able to have that forward momentum? Are they going to be able to be effective at the breakdowns, be effective, in space? Are they going to be able to run with the backs? All those kind of things. Like, I think it was like pretty hard for because like when you have guys like Morlilly and Lennox on the field, and Lennox playing that whole game, I thought was massive, and even like the changes that they did, bringing on what's his name, Sefo, in that second half with Caleb, to me kind of got them over the line, because like I thought that Southland boys was actually doing a really good job in recycling the ball, and even though I thought what's his name, Leeson, and what's this number 7's name? Can't even remember his name. Fijian fella, the open side, even though they were having good games around the breakdown, and you had like Charlie and Mac locking them all, physically getting in there, I still thought that Southland boys was able to recycle it back pretty fast, and they were able to get that ball back and running. And where I thought that they did enough was that what I didn't see was Jack Brock get any kind of open lanes and open space to run it. And to me, that sort of comes down to Caleb Harvey not being there. I think that's important to state that when you have a guy like Caleb Harvey in your team, who's usually sitting at centre, he'll usually play alongside Finn Hurley. When you play like that the whole year and you have that kind of space and time and threat out wide at 13, and Caleb Harvey, and it's not there, Brock is given other, he has to find other opportunities to sort of make him and break these things open. And usually you'd see Brock open up the space like that throughout the games, and he just wasn't given that space. And I guess that's like a good thing, and for STAC that's a good thing, because you didn't have to have Seymour and that running around. Like Seymour, to me, I think he had his best game in this game, was Seymour's best game. Not even the fact that he just he got that try, was it just before halftime or on halftime? Oh no, to close out the game, when they made their comeback. It wasn't just about that one try. I thought the whole game defensively he played really, really strong, and I actually think this was his best game. Jock's Seeley was the same way. I thought this was one of his best games too, where it wasn't just about him and the way he ran the ball back, because he had two really good runs that he had, but I like the fact that he was closing down kicks, he was closing up space, making sure that his reads were right in terms of when he did return balls. He wasn't running away from like people, he was making sure that he stayed in contact and linked up with others so that there was like an opportunity for Jet to get the ball or Otis to get the ball, or making sure that he just wasn't away from his support. And even when Southland started making their comeback, and when STAC was making their comeback, and I thought that STAC had the best poise about themselves, and they didn't get too overexcited, they didn't panic too much. The fact that Seffel, Caleb, Gyra came on and they picked up this pace and picked the game up so fast and so physical, that's where I think that Southland couldn't hang with that, is that their bench just became too strong. And I hope that's something that they play when they get into the top four, is that either if they play it the same way or they just keep this big physical presence about them. I think STAC can go a long way with the forward pack that they have coming up here to the North Island with a bigger pack up front. Because STAC to me, like Napier have a big forward pack, Hamilton have a big forward pack, toting a forward pack is pretty good, like they're pretty big, but they got a really good mix of size and athleticism for toting a boys. The same thing with Silverstream, is that they have that good mix of size and athleticism, not overly big fellas that they have on their sides, even on their bench. The Westlake boys don't really have a big pack. Out of all the teams up here that are in this top four run, Carlson boys probably have the smallest pack, but their pack is real fast, physical and fit. And if you can keep up with their pace and the physicality that they play at, like these guys are smaller guys, but they hit really hard, and they hit hard every single time. They don't relax. And if you can keep up with that tempo and the way that they play that game for the full 70 minutes, then you can be fine against Carlson boys if that's the case. But it's not really an easy thing to sort of calculate and go against. If STAC bring a side like this to how they played, where Leeson can get out there, Tyson can get out there and do that, Lockie can play that as well. And because to me Lockie's probably one of the main guys for this side. And then having Morlili play that first half, empty the tank in that first half, go all out, and let Seffel come back on, Lennox stay on, and Henry Taylor will come off too. Henry had a great game, I thought, as well, in that first half. And I think that rotation of having Morlili and Henry play out that first half really strong and put everything into it, tire them out, and then have Caleb come on, is a big shout out to the coaches and how they're playing this. And I think it's going to be real interesting. I think the comeback by because in the end of that game, when STAC was making their comeback, I think one of those important ones was where who was it? Maybe Charlie Byrne, where they had the intercept, but it was dropped, and Charlie got the intercept and pushed that score out, but then that's when it was like 40-24. And 40-24, 40-25, something like that. And there was only like 15 minutes left. and then STAC started scoring their tries from there and coming back and pushing it all the way, and then Stow was getting those last ones. You know, like the whole build up to that, I thought was all based on the poise that they had. And shout out to STAC and what they're doing. Shoot, I just realized what the time is. Anyways, more write-ups on them to come. Big week coming through. Shout out to all the teams that won. Shout out to Napier boys, Hamilton boys, Tauranga, Westlake and Kelston, Silverstream, and did I leave anyone else out? And shout out to STAC. Alright. Love you all. My Herschel Throne. Later, ball.